Hey guys, so I'm here with another pregnancy update. I have quite a few things to discuss with you guys. I have my list here. I want to talk about getting my tubes tied. I had a visit to the ER or labor and delivery, my ultrasound update, nausea, lots of things. So I'm just going to get right into it. I am very pregnant. You can probably tell I'm out of breath. And I'll probably have shown y'all at some point my belly. It's very big, and yeah, I can say that though, but no one else say I feel like I've probably said this a billion times, like especially throughout my pregnancies, but I have made this mistake myself and I caught myself doing it. I went to a friend's shower in between my pregnancies. I've realized that the past 5 years I've been pregnant every other year, 2017, 2019, and 2021. So in between those, went to a baby shower and I saw my friend, and you know, her belly had gotten big. She was not big all around, just her belly. And I said something about being big or whatever because I hadn't seen her in a while, and I immediately regretted it. So at least I was aware of what I was doing. Most people I feel like aren't aware, because I could see it on her face that it bothered her, and I feel like I'm very expressive, so I feel like people can see it on my face, yet they don't like try to take it back or backpedal or anything. So anyway, just another friendly reminder to put it out there in the world. Yes, pregnant women, especially me, tend to be large and in charge and just big, but just don't talk about it. Don't say it. Even my own sister, we had like a little birthday celebration for two of my sisters and my dad that all have birthdays in July. Even she was like, "You are very pregnant." And I don't know. I don't want to hear that stuff. I don't want to hear it, okay? No pregnant woman wants to hear that. Maybe there are some that just don't care, but I get pretty sensitive about it. I don't want to hear it. So anyway, that's the first thing that we'll talk about in this video is, yes, I'm very big. I feel like I've gained like as much weight as I did in my last couple pregnancies, maybe a little bit less, but it's a struggle. I lose the weight every single time, but it is what it is. So anyway, let's talk about some other things. So first, let's talk about the ultrasound update, because that is very exciting. So if you've been following along, you know that I've been seeing a specialist and we've had to go to lots of ultrasounds to check on baby girl. And at first it was the cyst on her brain that went away on its own, which was ideal. So there's no issues with that whatsoever now. But then she also has my placenta, her umbilical cord is attached on the side, not in the middle. So they said that can cause babies to not grow as much, like not get the nutrition that they need. So we've been checking on her weight growth and everything. And at my last ultrasound, they said she graduated. This was last week. I am 32 weeks pregnant now. Yeah. So last week, I'm at the point now where I go to the doctor every 2 weeks, and then I also am too swollen to wear my wedding ring, unfortunately. But that happened like last week. I just gave up trying to like shove it on my finger. But anyway, so swelling is a big thing with me. Like my feet swell like multiple sizes. I feel like they're not quite there yet, but I also think I can't tell as much because it's the summer and I'm wearing sandals. If it was in the winter, like with Henry, and I was wearing tennis shoes, I'd really be able to tell, like I can't even fit my foot into these shoes. They grow multiple sizes from the swelling. It's very fun. So whenever I see people like big pregnant women in cute shoes, like cute little shoes, I'm like, wow, that's lucky, because all I can do is wear sandals even in the winter because I'm that swollen. So anyway, so I have had multiple appointments. I had my regular appointment, then the next week I have my ultrasound, and then this next week, this Friday, I will have another regular appointment. But I no longer have to go to my ultrasounds because she graduated, as they called it, which I think is so cute. She's growing just fine, totally normal. Her curve is totally normal. And so that is, sorry, I'm still always nauseous. Even though I'm on medication, I still have nausea. And it's definitely getting worse near the end of this pregnancy, which was the same with my last pregnancy. It's never ended, which is so crazy because it wasn't that way with my first two, but I've said that a billion times. So anyway, that's the nausea update. But it's definitely getting worse, and I just don't feel good, you know? And I think that's part of like my weight gain too, is that I just don't feel good, and I feel like I need to eat. It just like makes me feel better, and I just don't feel like myself. And I'm sure, you know, the hormones and everything all together, I just don't feel like myself. And then after I give birth, I can just feel like a normal person, and I can kind of eat like a normal person, if that makes sense. So anyway, excited for that. But yeah, so we don't have to go to the specialist anymore. She's growing fine, which makes me so happy and really gives me a lot of hope that we will make it until the end of this pregnancy. She won't have to be born early or anything. And that's so important to me because my oldest was in the NICU for 5 weeks, and there's such a difference. He was my firstborn. You know, there's such a difference between your child being in the NICU immediately the second they're born, to them not going to the NICU at all, and you just get to spend time with them. Like my 3 days in the hospital after a C-section are amazing with my last two kids, because I get to be with them, and it's just like this one-on-one quality time, and I'm like huge on quality time, and I just get to know them and just spend the special time with them as the nurses take care of me and stuff. So I'm really hoping for that with my baby girl, and I think we're gonna make it to that. So that makes me very happy. Okay, next on the list, I will talk about getting my tubes tied. So I talked a little bit about this on my Instagram, and I even tried to talk about some of these other things on my Instagram, but the stories were like not loading. I don't know, Instagram can just be crazy sometimes. But I did talk about this, so definitely follow me on Instagram if you want more like real-time updates and stuff. And I've also been sharing a ton about the living room makeover that we're doing. So exciting. And all of the choices I'm making for decorating, and the wall we were removing or removed, it's gone now, and all that fun stuff. But anyway, so I have been considering getting my tubes tied, was pretty certain I was going to get my tubes tied. But then when I mentioned it to people, they would voice some concerns. Like someone told me that they had a friend who got her tubes tied and then within a year got pregnant. So it didn't work, clearly. So that was crazy. And she had a C-section like me when she got her tubes tied. She had twins actually. And then she got pregnant again within a year, which is that's a lot. So anyway, that happened, and then I had another friend who said her mom got her tubes tied and that she felt like it affected her hormones and made her age faster and all of that. So I just had some questions for my doctor about getting my tubes tied, some things that I hadn't really thought about. Because for the most part, the reviews I've watched online, I have my sister-in-law who got her tubes tied, like for the most part, it sounded like things went well. Like I saw most people were happy with it. And there's not like an extra recovery time after your C-section if you get your tubes tied. It's just like about 30 minutes extra, I think, during the C-section to add that on. So anyway, I asked my doctor about it, and it was all really good news. She said that as far as getting pregnant, there is a very, very small percent, but it's not even like 1%. It's less than 1% of people that still get pregnant. So it's extremely rare. She said that what could have happened with the girl who had a C-section and got pregnant right away afterwards, after she got her tubes tied, is that the doctor may have just put a clip on it. You can just put a clip on it on your tubes, and that clip just stays in you forever. And if it's during the C-section, there's a lot of scar tissue, they may not have been able to get a really clear view of the tubes and just kind of put the clip on it best they could, and it didn't really work. So, you know, we don't know for sure if that's what happened, but that's a possibility. But for my doctor, she does not do the clip. She actually takes out a portion of your tubes. And she says if during the C-section she's not able to see the tubes clearly, she will schedule me for like a month later to do it like after the C-section. So she will make sure that she does it properly. And I really trust my doctor with that. So that made me feel good that, you know, unless God decides that I should have another child, which I really hope he doesn't, that I think the likelihood is very, very low that I would get pregnant from this after getting my tubes tied. Then we talked about it affecting your hormones. She says it doesn't affect your hormones because it's the tubes. It's not, I think she said your ovaries or whatever. It's just not the part of your body that will affect your hormones. She even mentioned, without me asking, that I will go into menopause most likely when my mom did, just genetics, that it will not speed that up or anything. So that was all good news. Oh, and then another thing people said is that their periods were much worse after getting their tubes tied. And my doctor said, which this makes sense, that the reason people think that is because most women are either pregnant, nursing, or on the pill, or have an IUD, something like that, most of their lives. So they don't really experience those full-on periods. The pill can really lower your symptoms. It can lower the amount of periods you have or how heavy they are. So then once you're off all of that, because you have your tubes tied, then you experience those full periods, which I have been off the pill for a long time and I know what those periods are like. So that won't be a surprise to me. I just didn't want them to get even worse, but they won't. So that was good news. Although I am going to ask my doctor this Friday about getting a uterine ablation. That's something that some of you guys mentioned to me on my cleaning channel when I was talking about getting my tubes tied, and then I have a few other people in my personal life that have mentioned it, and it basically gets rid of your periods. I was reading about it, and I think it's like they remove some of the uterine lining. I don't know, but apparently it can even be covered. Sorry, I'm just so blah right now. Apparently it can even be covered by insurance. So, and because, there are plenty of women that are affected pretty deeply by their periods, by those intense cramps and all of that, which I'm definitely one of those. So I think it could be a really good thing for me. But of course I want to talk to my doctor about any kind of side effects or whatever, just like I asked about with getting my tubes tied. So I'll update you guys on that next time, see what my doctor says about it. But it's very interesting to me because getting your tubes tied, unfortunately, does not mean that your periods go away. It just means you can't get pregnant. But I would like to get rid of my periods as well. That would be great. So all of that being said, I know I am going to get my tubes tied 100%. I have signed the paper. You have to sign it before you go into your C-section, and then they date it the day they do the C-section. They've actually had me sign it twice because I think they've lost the first one. I don't know. They're very big on making sure I've signed this thing. So I have signed it. And of course they could rip it up if I change my mind the day of the C-section or whatever, but I'm not going to. I am so done being pregnant. Like I said, I have been pregnant every other year for 5 years now. It's very hard on my body. It's very hard on me mentally. It's hard on your marriage. It's hard being pregnant. The end result is amazing. Getting the child is what I want, but the pregnancy part is just the worst part for me. And honestly, I would go, if I felt like I wanted another child or whatever, I would go through pregnancy again and again for my kids because they're worth it. But I feel really complete now that we're getting our baby girl and we have our 3 amazing boys. I just feel like our family is really complete, and I feel like I'm a big quality time person, and I really want to be able to focus on my kids. And I feel like if I have more, I already am about to have 4, and I feel like if I have more than that, for me personally, that just is a really big stretch. Someone is always sick. My oldest has an ear infection. He was having extreme ear pain the other day. So someone is always sick or hurt or, going through something emotionally or, whatever. There's just always something. And I want to be there for my kids as much as I can for their entire lives, and for my entire life. I want to be there for them. So I really think 4 is a great number for me. It's still a lot, but I think that I can handle it, and I don't want to push myself too far in that way. So for all of those reasons, we are done, and we will have our sweet little girl who'll be the only girl and the youngest, so you better believe she's going to be spoiled. I'm looking at all of her girly stuff right now. Girls have so many accessories. I have a little setup in my room for her with all of her bows and her hats and her turbans and her little, I want to get pictures taken of her shortly after she's born, so her little outfits for that. Her socks, everything. And then also this is where my youngest, who's only 2, he just turned 2 in the end of June, where he gets his diapers changed still, and we keep his PJs down here because it just makes the most sense. So I really love this area. I'm excited to share my baby organization with you guys. I'll do a video about that soon. I'm really hoping to start posting every Thursday on this channel. That's my goal, is to start posting every Thursday until I have her. And then I may post even more because I want to do obviously the birth vlog and then the first 24 hours after birth, and then, you know, lots of newborn vlogs and stuff. I just really want to document that time. So after she's born, I may post even more. I also will take a little step back from my cleaning videos. I'm still hoping to post once a week on my cleaning channel, but I'm going to try to film ahead, and so I'll only have to be editing since I will have a C-section for probably at least 2 weeks. I won't be able to clean much, you know, at all. And then even after that, I'm trying to give myself at least a good 3 weeks of no cleaning. Ideally, I would love to get like a month, but just with my schedule, I think maybe 3 weeks is the max. And then once I do start filming again, of course, I will be careful when cleaning and stuff. But I still want to be posting, obviously, on that channel as much as I can because it's my job. But, you know, when you have a baby, it's hard when you have your own business or whatever. You just don't get like maternity leave. That's not like a thing, you know. So anyway, that's that. Okay, so now let's talk about the ER visit, or going to labor and delivery. So the labor and delivery portion of the ER. I just started to get really worried about her. I was feeling very uncomfortable down low. Let's just say that. I thought she had dropped, which I've never experienced before. I've never even had a vaginal birth. So like my babies have really I've never had like been dilated really. I've never had my babies even start to get down there. They've always been, you know, always been cut open and they've come out that way. So it was just like a weird feeling. You know, I had Carter at 35 weeks, Henry at 39, and Jack at 39. Both of them exactly 39 weeks. So I don't know, I've never experienced like a baby dropping or anything, but I felt like she was so low and it was really worrying me. This is TMI, but this is all going to be TMI from this point on. So warning. But I felt like when I would poop that she might come out or something, which is hilarious and ridiculous. I know. Like, I was telling the labor and delivery doctor that, and she was like, babies don't just come out that easily. They don't just pop out. Like, you know, like it's not that simple. And I'm like, okay, I've never had a vaginal birth. I don't know. But yeah, it's just not that simple. But I was still like worried. I'm like, I don't want her to like come out in the toilet or something. I don't even know. I wasn't even having contractions, but she just felt so low to me. But I will tell you guys what I think was actually going on. So she was not low. When I went in to labor and delivery, which it honestly got me very excited for her to come, because they put, you know, that thing, that strap on you to listen to the baby's heart rate the entire time. They like to listen to the baby's heart rate. Like, I think for most of the time they're talking to you or whatever when you first get in to labor and delivery. I will say this was 1,000 times better experience than my last ER visit for multiple reasons. The main reason is because my last ER visit was a miscarriage. So obviously it ended horribly in that way. But also, since I wasn't far enough along, which was good, I guess, but I wasn't far enough along to go to labor and delivery. So they sent me to the regular ER, and they do not treat you the same. Like, as a pregnant lady, you get some special treatment, you know, and you don't get that in the regular ER. And but at the labor and delivery, they gave me the Sonic ice, and I had brought like a Topo Chico sparkling water with me, so I poured that bad boy into the ice, and they let me keep the cup. And my nurse was just so sweet and talkative and friendly, and it was just, they did a great job taking care of me. But yeah, so it was fun to listen to her heartbeat, because that's usually how it starts for me with my C-sections, is they strap me up and start listening to the baby's heart rate and everything. So that was just got me excited for her to be here, which August will be the last full month, which is so exciting, because my C-section is scheduled for September 14th at 7:30 a.m. So very exciting that August is the last like full month until she's here. So over being pregnant, so over it. I'm like fully in that stage. So anyway, let me finish the ER story. But I do want to say that she is pressing on my bladder. And so, okay, so when I went to labor and delivery, they checked me. They, you know, they listened to her heart rate. She wasn't in distress or anything. So that first step made me very happy. They gave me the ice and all of that. Then the doctor comes in and she checks me down there, you know, and she said, nope, the baby is not low. Your cervix is way up there. And she said, but something is touching your bladder, which, like, obviously it's probably a body part. Everybody laughed at me at my baby sprinkle because, you know, instead of a shower, it's a sprinkle. It was so much fun. I probably should talk about that a little bit too in this video, but, you know, they're like, oh, what is it that's touching? Probably a body part. So yeah, obviously, but it could also be, I don't know, the placenta. I don't know. Just something was touching, obviously, and I wanted to know what. So the doctor didn't know, but she said something is definitely pressing on your bladder, which it's so bad, you guys. Like, the second I stand up, I'm gonna have to go pee. Even if it's the tiniest amount of pee, it is painful. And then, like, in the mornings when, you know, I've been sleeping and I have to pee, I can barely walk to the bathroom. It's that painful. Like, it is excruciatingly painful to have any sort of urine in my bladder. And so I'm peeing all of the time, which is not fun. And it's painful. Like, I'm literally in pain all of the time. But at my ultrasound, they said it's her head that's pressing on my bladder, at least at that time. So she is head down now. She was breached my ultrasound before that. Doesn't really matter because I have C-sections, but she is head down now, and it's her head just pressing on that bladder all of the time. That little girl, she's always pressing on it, and it's so hard because with my cleaning videos, I'm always moving around and up and down, and it's just, I'm like starting to just fall apart. It's just so hard to film my cleaning videos, and I feel like I'm this giant whale just moving around the house attempting to clean it in extreme ways, and it's rough. So but she was not coming, you know, I wasn't in labor. She hadn't even dropped, because sometimes babies will drop for like an entire month, and you know, the moms say they just waddle the whole time, which I'm already waddling, but that's because I'm huge and she's on my bladder and I can hardly walk, okay? But she has not dropped, so that was good. But so this is more TMI, I had a yeast infection and a vaginal infection. So double whammy, 2 infections. And so that made sense with the discomfort. And I felt like raw, which I thought was from like wiping from peeing all the time, but I guess it was from like the yeast infection or whatever. So yeah, that meant lots of medication to take care of those. And of course you don't want to have that because it can cause premature birth and issues like that. So you really want to get those infections under control. So they prescribed me some medicine. Now I went in late. I was like in the hospital that evening, so I wasn't able to get my medicine filled until the next day. And that's part of why I went to labor and delivery. You know, I couldn't just go see my regular doctor even, which maybe they still would have sent me to labor and delivery, because it was like late on a Friday night. So then Saturday morning, I sent my husband to go pick up the medicine. Well, he comes back with just the antibiotic for the vaginal infection, but not the medicine for the yeast infection. And I guess like my insurance had pinged that I was taking some medication that might interfere with this medicine, which was weird because I didn't think I was taking anything like that. I am on diclegis for the nausea, so I thought maybe that's it, but I don't know why those two would interact. Like, it seemed weird to me. So I called the pharmacist and talked to her, and she said that no, the diclegis should not be why it's pinging for that. But she said, let me look into this because you're pregnant, right? I assume, since you're on diclegis. And I was like, yes, I am. So she looked into it, and that medication is actually very dangerous for the baby. You should only be taking if the mother's life is threatened or, you know, emergency situations. So, and it was just one pill. That's all it was. Just one single pill that you have to take. Not even the antibiotics for the vaginal infection were morning and night, and you had to eat with them and everything. So it was still just a pill, but it was, you know, for like 7 days, you have to take it morning and night. So not terrible, but, you know, just annoying. I'm not someone who likes taking medicine all the time, and I'm already on my nausea meds and my prenatal vitamin. So I just get sick of taking medicine, but not a huge deal. Well, the pharmacist called my doctor, which at first she was like, oh, well, we won't be able to do this till Monday because it's the weekend. And I was like, no. I saw this doctor at 10 p.m. They're labor and delivery doctors. You should be able to contact them. They told me when I left, they're open 24 hours a day. And so she was like, okay. So she was able to contact the doctor. And yes, the doctor said, no, do not prescribe her that medication. So I have no idea why they prescribed that, because it's not like I went to just the regular ER. I had a labor and delivery doctor prescribe me that. I don't know what went wrong there. And that was part of the kind of annoying thing, but then also really nice about the labor and delivery. Because if you go to the regular ER, like when I had my miscarriage, I was there for hours waiting for results of like tests and stuff like that from the lab. But at labor and delivery, I did have to wait a little bit, but I think it was like 30 minutes for them to get the tests back. And that was because my nurse, my amazing nurse, I'm telling you, labor and delivery nurses are angels. All nurses are angels. They're amazing, caring people. I have a sister that's a nurse and she's very caring. And I'm always calling her because my kids are always sick, asking her questions. And she's great. So all nurses are amazing. But my experience with labor and delivery nurses has been like, they're just awesome most of the time, except for with my oldest, but that's a different story. I was very young then and they were rude to me. But anyway, so she advocated for me. She called the lab and everything. I asked if I could just go home and they could just call me and let me know the results. But it was probably best I just stayed because of the results that I got, and everything. So anyway, so then she finally gets the correct medicine, which I'll talk about what kind of medicine that was in a second. And she says, okay, well, we don't have what your insurance covers. We don't have that in stock, and we won't have it until maybe Monday. 50% chance it'll be Monday. So I was like, great. And this pharmacist was awesome too. It's always so nice to work with like kind, helpful people. It just makes life so much better and just really makes the experience, even if it's a tough experience like being sick or whatever, so much better. So she was really nice and helpful, and she was really wanting to make sure she wasn't giving me the wrong medication, being pregnant and all. So she was great, the pharmacist. And I was like, can I just pay for it out of pocket? Like, is it going to be hundreds of dollars? Like, how much would it be? And she said, oh, that's a good question, to get the kind that they already had in stock. So she looked into it and she said it'd be like $75, which I would have paid because I didn't want to have to wait till maybe Monday. But she said, let me check. I have a coupon, which I think is from goodrx.com. Amazing site. If you don't have insurance or if something's not covered, definitely check that site out. So she looked into that for me and it ended up being like $17, which was amazing. I was like, okay, sold. So I sent my husband to go pick that up. He brings it back. Guys, it was a vaginal insertion medication that you had to do for 7 nights. Every single night for 7 nights. I am proud to say I finished all of it. I don't know if some of you are like this, but I can be bad about like finishing medicine when I'm not pregnant. Like you're supposed to finish your antibiotics and all that, and sometimes I don't. But being pregnant, I want my baby to be safe, so I finished all of the antibiotics and I finished all of the vaginal insertion stuff. And I will have to say it wasn't like extremely it was painful at times. It wasn't like horrible, but it was just like annoying having to do it every night. I just had it as like a part of my routine, my bedtime routine. I usually shower at night. So I would shower, I would take all my medication. Like I take 2 pills for my diclegis at night. I take my vitamin at night. When I was still on the antibiotics, I took one of those at night and in the morning. So I would do all of that. I do my skincare, shower, everything. And then the last thing would be the vaginal medicine. So that was not fun, but I did it. I completed it. I'm really proud of that. And I can't wait to tell my doctor on Friday because I want her to make sure, like check and, if she thinks she needs to make sure that everything's cleared up down there. I do feel a lot better. I don't feel like she's dropped low or anything anymore. I still have the issues with her pressing on my bladder nonstop, but the other feelings I don't have. So I think that's the uncomfortableness that I was feeling was from that, and it was very uncomfortable down there, like so uncomfortable for a very long time, like leading up to getting the diagnosis, and then while taking the medication, it was just a situation down there. So I am glad that's over with, thank goodness. Okay, so I think that's everything I said I was going to say, except for I thought I would mention my sprinkle really quickly. I did have a little baby sprinkle, baby shower, and I am just so grateful. It was with the ladies from my church. They were the ones that set it up, one special lady in particular. And I just felt so grateful, so pampered, so, like it makes me want to cry just thinking about it because you know, I've had like some amazing baby showers with my first, my sisters threw that with my oldest. That was, you know, almost 13 years ago or whatever. And then with my last two, my mother-in-law threw that, and she's excellent at that kind of stuff. So I've had some amazing baby showers, like 3 full-on baby showers, but I've always wanted a little girl. And the excitement and joy of having a little girl has just been so emotional for me. And getting to, I wasn't expecting a shower or a sprinkle or anything, since, you know, we have mostly what we need except for little girly items and stuff. So I wasn't expecting anything at all. So it was so sweet of them to do that, since I was zero expecting it. And then also just the gifts, like somebody said, well, one thing that almost made me cry, like I definitely would have cried if I wasn't around a bunch of people or whatever, but she did where you guess the name of the nail polishes. They were like different pinks and purples, and we were supposed to guess the name, and it was just kind of a funny thing because all the names of nail polishes are always ridiculous and have nothing to do with the color really. So it was just a funny game. And then at the end she said that I got to keep all the nail polish, which was super sweet and cute, but it made me think about how I will get to paint my little girl's nails. Like, I am not artistic at all with painting or drawing, terrible at it. And so when I get my nails done, I go somewhere and have someone else do it, or else it looks terrible. But I picture myself with my little girl painting her little nails, or taking her to the nail salon, and we'll sit next to each other in the fancy, you know, chairs and get pedicures and all that. Like, that has just been one of my dreams with having a little girl. And so I'm so, like, I'll see when I go get my pedicures done, because I have crusty, disgusting feet. It's like a medical issue. I have to get pedicures done sometimes. So I'll go do that, and I'll see a mom and daughter, like a little girl with her mom. And it used to break my heart, but now it just gets me, I'm gonna cry. It gets me so excited to just do that with her and to share those experiences that you can't really share with the son. And my boys are everything to me and just so special to me. But there are just certain things you can't do with boys, you know, they're boys, and I'm not gonna do their nails, you know. So maybe one day when they're like older, they might want to get a pedicure and not, you know, just get their feet like massaged and stuff or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just different. And so that almost made me cry. And then someone else got like some cute little outfits for her, and you'll actually see it, some of the gifts, in my cleaning video that I think is already up. If this video is up, I think that video is up too. My latest cleaning video. I put away a lot of the gifts I got, and one of the outfits is in that video, and it's this little dress, and it has a jean jacket that came with it, and the dress is like a floral girly dress. And one of the ladies from our church said that it reminded her of a Madison outfit, and I just thought that was so cute and so true, because I do that a lot, like especially with church or whatever, you know, wear like a dress and throw like a jean jacket over it or something. And I usually like to dress kind of girly. I would say I have a more feminine style, like if I'm picking out a dress or whatever. So and when I opened it, I was like, oh, I could match with her. And then she said, yeah, it made me think of like a Madison outfit. And that just made me so excited, so excited. So there were multiple moments in the shower that, or the sprinkle as you would call it, that I just almost started crying. And it was just such a, you know, sweet, intimate shower. It was a smaller one, you know, because it was just the ladies from our church, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law came too, because my mother-in-law goes to our church. They're actually like, they run the church, own the church. My father-in-law is the pastor, so. But anyway, and then my sister-in-law just came with my mother-in-law. But it was great to have them there too, and it was just a really like intimate, close thing. My niece came, my sister-in-law's daughter. She has 2 boys and a girl. Actually, the girl's the youngest. So she was there, and she's adorable. She's like 7 or 8, and she wears bows all the time. And I've always just, you know, wished I could do that with my daughter. So it was just a really cool experience, really fun. And I'm super grateful for it, so that I got to have like that memory, that experience. I didn't you know, expect some huge shower, or, you know, I would never expect that even, you know, I mean, you kind of expect it with like your first kid. People should throw you like a big shower, I feel like, because you need a lot of stuff when it comes to a baby. But like with this, I just didn't expect it at all, but it was so nice to have that experience with having a little girl finally. So anyway, this was super long and my husband needs the shower, so I need to end this. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for hanging out with me while I got to chit chat at you. I still feel like I'm hanging out with you guys, just like when I'm watching a video on YouTube of someone talking a lot. I feel like I can do my makeup or hair or clean and I'm just kind of hanging out with them. And man, I'm feeling super emotional right now, but it will make me feel like less alone sometimes when I'm going through a hard time. If there are certain favorite YouTubers or whatever that I watch and, you know, I can listen to them, it makes me feel less alone. So I hope that I can do that for some of you guys. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That just supports my channel in a small way. And definitely subscribe if you haven't. And click the bell to be notified when I post new videos, because I will have a birth vlog, like I said. I'm planning a what's in my hospital bag video very soon with lots of girly items for my girl. You better believe I'm going to be decked out in pink and she's going to be decked out. And it's just going to be so exciting. So we're coming towards the end and I cannot wait to meet my daughter. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.